Welcome back. In today's episode, we have the conclusion of the interview with Chad Bostick, the super successful host of the podcast Hello Tech Pros. In today's episode, we talk about the importance of being present and what it really means to do the right thing. And finally, we're going to discuss the keys, how to make everything a lot more simple.
Welcome to this edition of Peak Performers Podcast with your host, Thor Conklin. Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
Thor Conklin here. We give you the tricks, the tips, the tools, the strategy, the technology, and the psychology peak performers use in order to get more done and execute at the highest level. If you know what to do but struggle with getting it all done, or simply want to raise your game to the next level, this podcast is for you. Sit back and enjoy. What's some of your biggest weaknesses?
The biggest weaknesses I still have are some of the fears, right? The fear of disappointing people, the fear of saying no and coming across as a jerk, the fear of disappointing people. And it's not so much like your average Joe, like, hey, going out on the street and disappointing people in, society, but really like, am I going to disappoint my wife? Like, am I going to upset my daughter? Am I going to cause contention in our family, like with my mother or with my mother-in-law? So these kind of areas where I know I should, in some cases, be a lot more firm, a lot more strong, but it's like, gosh, I really don't want to piss people off, or I don't want to frustrate them. So, and I temper it, and my messages come across very tepid and not honest and true. And sometimes I need to just, you know what? I love you guys. You love me. This is the way it is.
Biggest strengths?
Biggest strengths are not what I have, but what I've overcome. So knowing the journey that I've walked to get to where I am, that is my biggest strength. It's not, my muscles are so strong or I'm so good at speaking. No, it's the fact that I know how much I've progressed and that I know that I can be very empathetic to other people's challenges when they have social skill challenges, or when they have anxiety challenges. I can be extremely empathetic to those issues because I've been there, dude.
Nice. What are some important daily habits?
Be very present with my family. So, it's not just about waking up early and being as highly productive as I can, but when I spend time with the people that I love, like, be extremely present with them. Like, don't try to do two things at one time. Don't try to surf social media and listen to my daughter read a book at the same time. Like, do that and then do the other, right? Spend time with my family and being extremely present with them.
Yeah, I use an example. I said, and this goes to multitasking, trying to get two things done at the same time. Mm-hmm. I said, you do not want to be with your wife in an intimate setting and then start taking out your phone and doing emails. That will not end well.
Right. Yeah. You will be checking emails for the rest of your life.
That's right. From the couch.
From the couch.
What are some of your daily habits that are really important to you?
Long distance running. I'm not running daily because of my training program, but 3 to 4 times a week. Other than that, just reaching out to new people. Try to smile when I'm in public, because I used to not do that. But just really smile and engage people. I'm not to the point where, like your buddy, I'm hugging people at the airport. That's still a boundary that I haven't been able to cross. But just try to enjoy life and just smile and be happy, and just talk to more people.
I love that smile. I think we forget to do that so often, and it is such a powerful tool.
Yeah, you never know when it can change someone's day. Just even if you're having a horrible day, just go out in public with a smile, greet people with a smile, engage people with a smile, and you might brighten their day. And when you do, they're going to light up and they're going to reciprocate. And then you're just going to feel better about yourself, and you're going to feel better about the world, and you're going to smile like with honesty.
Yeah, just do something nice. Yesterday, literally, I was at the grocery store and I was doing one of those self-checkouts. And the person ahead of me, I don't know who it was because they weren't there, forgot to take their change. There was 22 $10 bills in the change thing that came back out, which they left without. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, let me grab the manager. I grabbed the manager. I said, somebody left this, and I'm sure they're not going to be happy about losing $20. And they come back, here's the $20. And he looked at me like, that was weird. I was like,
Right.
it's like, it's the right thing to do. Hopefully the person comes back, claims their $20, and he tells the story, hey, somebody turned it in, and then they go and then do something nice. Start a routine of doing something for others. And it starts with a smile, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was in London. We were on vacation one time, and I think it was at King's Cross Station. My buddy had dropped me off. We said our goodbyes in the parking lot, and then I went inside to the station, and we were going up, to buy a soda or something. I realized my wallet is missing, like it's completely missing. And where's my credit cards? Where's all of my identification? What am I going to do? And so I was frantic, absolutely frantic, trying to figure out. And there was this gentleman who was just kind of walking around looking at people. And he walked up to me and he said, "Are you Chad?" And I said, "Yeah." And he handed me my wallet. I said, "Oh my God, where did you find it?" And he said, "It was out in the parking lot." So you brought it from the parking lot all the way into King's Cross, and he was looking at my ID and looking for a person who looked frantic trying to find their wallet. I was like, "Oh my gosh, you have saved my life. Like, I don't know how to thank you." He's like, "Well, it's the right thing to do. No big deal." And he walked off, and it was like, man, that was literally like changed the course of my vacation there and turned everything around.
Absolutely. And it can change the direction of somebody's life as well. You never know where you're going to meet someone that they're just not in a good place.
Mm-hmm.
And those little acts of kindness can have a huge impact on people's lives, not just day.
Absolutely. There's so much negativity in the world. There's so much just nasty. We've just got through this political season, and thank God, regardless of if you like the choice or if you don't like the choice, I am just thankful that it's over because, I just hear so much negativity of this side hates these people and this side hates these people and everybody's out to get us and the whole world is screwed and we're all going to die in nuclear winter. It's like, God, just stop. Let's try to be a little bit more empathetic to each other's situations. Let's try to be a little bit more collaborative instead of competitive. And let's just try to smile at each other and just like, hey man, I understand you're having a bad day. I hope you have a better one, and just be a little bit nicer to each other.
Yeah. And quite frankly, this could turn out to be the greatest president ever. I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows?
It's got a shot. I mean, it could go the other way too, but hey, let's get behind him and let's, do what we can. Let's do our part.
But either way, even if you hate the political side, if you would never support this individual, or if they're making, faux pas or mistakes, that's that person, right? But the people who support them, that doesn't mean that I have to be angry at you because you support this person. That doesn't mean I have to get all up in your junk because you have a different belief than me.
Exactly.
No, it's cool.
Exactly.
Let's all support each other. Let's all, I hate to say the phrase, let's all get along. Why can't we all just get along?
Yeah.
But it's true, man. We fight too much because we're trying to protect our own self-interest, and instead of being empathetic to what's going on in other people's lives that maybe we don't understand because we were brought up a different way. We lived in a different area of the country. Like, we had different experiences as a kid. We had different family members that raised us, and let's just try to be empathetic to other people's situations.
Yeah. I mean, he said some stupid things. He's going to say some more stupid things, but hey, let's get behind our country and figure out how to move this thing forward.
Amen.
What's the worst advice you ever received?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I've gotten a lot of advice. Like, just get over it. Like, I've got this anxiety. I've got this struggle. I think I'm getting into depression. And people who love me, who I know care about me, or at the time cared about me, just say, "Oh, it's no big deal. Just get over it." And it's like, well, that was not helpful. Like, that's not good advice. Good advice would be like how to address it or what to do, not just get over yourself or get over your problems. It didn't help me. I don't think that would help anyone.
Have you seen the Bob Newhart skit, Stop It?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I'm going to have to YouTube it.
Oh, you got to YouTube it. If you're ever in a bad place and you're not having a good day, look at the video. It will absolutely crack you up. It's basically Bob Newhart he's playing a psychiatrist and tells a patient to just stop it. And it's ridiculous, but it's hilarious. Look it up.
Yeah, it hurts when I do this. Well, then don't do that.
Yeah, stop it.
Stop it. Cool.
It's quite funny.
I'll check it out.
Tell me a little bit about your core beliefs. What supports you?
So, from a higher being perspective, I believe in God. I believe in a creator. I believe that we are put on this earth for bigger things than what we give ourselves credit for. But from a science perspective, I believe that everything ties together, and I love the micro macro design of the universe, and how it all stitches together. From an internal belief system, I believe that we are social creatures and that we need to find social harmony. And that's by individual connections with other people, as well as our deeper connection with society in general. And so I believe that we need to, spend time finding our happy zone and our place in that society, both in those individual relationships as well as the bigger picture, and really be cool with who we are and not try to force ourselves into a label because, that label is popular on TV right now, or that label is what all of our friends are doing. We really need to find that harmony of what makes us tick and be happy with that, but yet know that place, wherever we are in life or business, that place is still works in the grand scheme of the universe.
I've learned so much from my guests over the last 150 episodes. What's some of the things that you learned from your guests?
Oh my gosh, there's so many things. There's so many technology things. There's so many productivity things. There's so many lifestyle things. The biggest one is, I struggled with my anxiety. And when I first started my podcast, I was really, really stressed out about asking people, especially asking strangers to come on the show. And so I started the podcast with just reaching out to friends and family and ex-colleagues and saying, hey, we've worked together in the past. I know you have amazing thoughts in this area, amazing experience in this area. I would love to get the same kind of advice that you gave me one-on-one, but bring it on the show. And I didn't get a lot of straight out no's, but I got a lot of and just kind of hesitance, and a lot of people who just wouldn't respond to me. And I was like, what is it about me? I can't land these guests. And it is really frustrating that I want to do this, and I'm trying to be more socially active and put myself out there, but people aren't biting on it. And when I finally locked down an old boss of mine, and I asked her, hey, why won't you do this? And she said, I hate the way my voice sounds on the telephone. I said, that's ridiculous. Your voice sounds fine. It sounds amazing. It sounds like you. It sounds like exactly who you are. And she said, yeah, but I don't like who I sound like. I don't like who I am, and I'm afraid of what questions you're going to ask me. I'm not going to be prepared, and and this amazing, strong, beautiful person with so much industry experience and so much knowledge to share with the world had the same anxieties I had about launching the podcast. She had anxieties about coming onto the podcast. And so what I discovered is, people struggle with the same things, right? People are all nervous about talking, about putting their stuff out there, about getting public with their idea or getting public with their thoughts and their beliefs. And it holds them back from achieving that next level success. So it's not just me, it's humanity, right? Everybody struggles in this way, and we just got to support each other.
Yeah, I found that, quite frankly, I was able to reach people that I didn't think I could get to, and it was a lot easier than I thought. And at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is promote their ideas and their thoughts and educate the audience. And, so many business owners, authors, etc., are willing to get out there to tell their story. So,
right.
Figure out what you can do for them is really, really important.
Yeah, the high achievers and the people who are already getting done, I found, as you found, that it's actually easier to get them to come on my show than it is to get a colleague or a family member to come on the show, because those high achievers, they have a platform. They want to spread their message. They have a book to sell. They have a consulting business to sell. They have, whatever, their ideas that they put out in the universe already, and they're trying to reach more and more people. And they're like, okay, cool, Chad, you got an audience. I would love to talk to them. But my friends and family who are just as smart, just as capable, just as experienced as some of these peak performers, right? But they're not authors, and they're not podcasters, and they're not, executive coaches. And they think, oh, woe is me because I'm nobody. Who would listen to me? Who would care to listen to my episode? It would be the least downloaded episode ever. And that's absolutely not the truth. Sometimes they're the biggest, most amazing breakthrough episodes because it's a different perspective that the audience hasn't heard before.
Absolutely. Everybody is spectacular in one area of their life or another. I can learn anything, or I can learn something from everyone. Hands down.
Yeah, you just need to put it out there, right? You just need to be brave enough to share it with the world, and we will all learn from you.
Absolutely. If you had a chance to interview someone for an hour, dead or alive, who would it be, and what would you ask him or her?
I think this might be weird. I don't know if you've had this answer before, but I would like to interview myself from 2000. Let's say the year 2000.
Wow.
Because
I have not heard that before.
Yeah. I spent a lot of time recently thinking about the situations I was in, right? But I can't really recall the mindset that I was in, right? So as an individual who is suffering with the social anxiety, I know I had a lot of fear, and I know I had a lot of uncomfortableness. But now that I've had 20 years to get through it, where was I actually at in my mindset? And so I would love to go back and talk to that younger Chad from 16, 17, 20 years ago and say, hey, dude, what's going on with you? How do you feel right now? How do you feel about this conversation? What are you thinking about? What happened yesterday that really upset you? And I would love to go back in time and talk to my younger self about, the struggles that I was going through, and maybe coach him up on, how he could get through it.
I think everybody at one time or another in their life always asks, what's the secret to happiness, success, wealth, being healthy, wealthy, and wise? If you were going to answer any of those, what would the answer be?
So I think the secret for me is being okay with who you are and being honest with who you are to yourself, right? I'm not talking about lying in public. I'm not talking about faking out your resume or anything like that, or putting on the front to your friends, but really being cool with the person that you are, flaws and all, right? I know so many people that struggle with just minor little things that they blow out of proportion because they look in the mirror and they see, oh, I got this little gap between my teeth, and so I'm covering it up, and I always speak with my hand in front of my mouth, and so nobody can actually hear what I'm saying because I have my hand in front of my mouth, because I'm afraid that people are judging me because of the tiny little microscopic gap between my teeth, right? These little bitty flaws that we have are who we are, and we need to embrace them, and we need to love them, and we need to be happy with those flaws and not be ashamed of them. And if we do, then everything else is so much simpler. If we are not ashamed of the tiny little, what we perceive as flaws in our life, then it makes us a lot more brave to get out and be public about, the things that we are proud about, and it stops holding us back.
It's funny. Just yesterday, I was looking in the mirror, and when I was younger in high school, I thought I had really big ears, and that one stuck out, more than the other one. Mm-hmm. And I wear my hair very short now, and I'm looking in the mirror. I was like, that's weird. I used to be self-conscious about my ears. My ears are fine. So it only took 50 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody is self-conscious about something on their body, right? Yeah. You take the most beautiful supermodel man or woman alive on earth, and I guarantee you, if you said, tell me the worst things about your body, your face, or whatever, your appearance, they would not just tell you one thing. They would give you a list of all the things they hate about themselves. We all have that. We all have things, not just our physical appearance, but our behaviors or our habits or our mindsets or our speech patterns or whatever. We all have something that we're frustrated about and we would like to change, but we're too ashamed of being okay with trying to make improvements, and we just try to hide it and cover it up.
We are at the part in the interview that I call the rapid fire execution round. In 1873, Cattleman designed a .22 revolver. It had 12 shots. You are going to have 12 questions to answer in 2 minutes. Why 2 minutes? Peak performers, if they have something to do and it takes less than 2 minutes, they knock it out. They don't put it on their to-do list. They just get it done. Are you ready?
Wait, I need a real quick mindset of the song from The Good, Bad, the Ugly. Right? Okay, now I'm ready. I'm good.
All right, excellent. Your top goal for 2016?
Meet 365 new people and have them recorded on my podcast.
One thing you must do every single day?
Talk to new people.
How old were you when you knew you could be successful?
42.
Name one thing you did poorly last year, but this year you actually do better.
I did poorly with focusing on my ideas and being okay with them and putting them out there.
Your favorite thing to do when you're not working?
Spending time with my daughter and my wife.
Name the
Doing
best
anything.
Name the best decision in business you've ever made.
Launching and evolving.
Name a profession you'd like to attempt other than your own.
Stand-up comedy. I think that would be fun.
One thing you were told that turned out to be the most true.
That I'm kind. I think. Yeah, we'll go with that one.
Number one thing you'd like to learn in the next 6 months.
I would like to learn. Gosh, I don't know. There's so many things. I would like to learn how to grow my business bigger and better and serve my audience more effectively.
Name the skill you have that you're most proud of.
My empathy, my listening.
Most meaningful book you've ever read.
The most meaningful book I've read is called Rejection Proof by a man named Zhai Zhang, and it's about his journey to overcome his fears and self-deprecation by doing something crazy every day for 100 days and really get okay with being rejected. And what he found out was asking for crazy things that he thought he was going to get rejected actually turned out to be successful. Like many people said, okay, sure, I'll do that. Yeah, sure, you can do that. And he was trying to build up a boundary around himself, a shield around himself, and get rejection proof. But what he found out was just by asking for people, you can actually get it. So that really helped me a lot.
Sounds like a great book. It's going on my list.
Awesome.
Your top priority in life?
My top priority in life is, just to be the best Chad that I can be. And that sounds pretty hokey, but really life is evolving and changing so rapidly. Like everything in 2016 is completely different from what it was in 2010, which is completely different than what it was in 2000, right? And so as things grow and adopt, I just want to enjoy it while I'm there.
What time do you start your day?
It's flexible now that I'm working from home. So on school days when my daughter goes to school, it starts about 7 a.m. and otherwise it starts about 8.
Most useful app you're currently using?
Evernote.
You made it through the execution round. Excellent. Woo! Well done.
Good, bad, or ugly. Maybe all three.
You made it.
A few examples of each.
So share with Peak Performance Nation where we can get a hold of you and some of the things that you're doing.
Sure. So the podcast, if you're a technical professional and want to learn more, not just about technology, but the mindset and procedures that I use to really become a peak performer in a tech career, is at Hello Tech Pros, which can be found in iTunes and Stitcher and Google and iHeartRadio and all the other places that you look for podcasts. It's called Hello Tech Pros by Chad Bostick, and or you can go to hellotechpros.com to get access to all the show notes page and find out more about our speakers and our guests and so forth. If you want to know more about social anxiety and specifically the steps that I have taken to overcome social anxiety, I'm actually in the process. I just started last week writing a book, and I'm being very, very public about the fact that I'm writing a book right now because I want the audience to hold me accountable to actually getting this book finished and getting out there in the world. It's called Anxiety Nerd. So if you go to anxietynerd.com, I've got like a sample story at the beginning, and then you can sign up to get a free chapter. and then you can kind of hold me accountable, and I'll give you updates on how that is going, as well as the stories throughout my career and my life of all the times where I felt very depressed or very self-conscious about these areas and what I learned from those experiences.
Awesome. Any parting advice for our listeners?
My parting advice would be, you know what, just take a moment to really reflect on what you've overcome so far. I think so many times we're looking ahead to the future. We're looking ahead to what's that next peak in front of me that I have to climb? What's that next mountain that I have to climb? What are the obstacles in my way right now? Take a moment or a few moments to look back on your history and say, these are all the things that I've already overcome. Like I have built a great career. I have launched my business. I have, engaged with a lot of people and met so many people in life. And I have changed lives. I have impacted children. I have done some amazing things. I've had a lot of successes. Don't worry so much about the failures, but even those failures are stepping stones to get you to where you're at today, and really reflect on the changes that you've had both in your body, your mindset, your soul, everything about you, how much you have grown as a person to get to where you are. Once you have reflected on that, it will be a lot more clear on where you need to go. And do you actually need to tackle that mountain in front of you, or do you need to pivot and go tackle something that's more meaningful to you?
That is great advice. And write down those accomplishments. Every time I accomplish something, big, small, doesn't matter, I write it down because it's amazing how quickly we forget what we've done. So write it down. Chad, great job today. Thank you very much. I know the audience will love the content here, and I look forward to having you back.
Thor, thank you so much for inviting me to join the Peak Performance Podcast. Dude, I so much respect what you're doing. You're putting out so many great episodes, and your guests are amazing. I love Peak Performer Nation. Your audience is amazing, and I really, really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and your audience today.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you. Are you truly living your potential? Are you getting the results that you need, want, and desire? There was a time in my life where I was not, and I needed answers. For the last 16 years, I've been obsessed with the question of why some people achieve massive results and others do not. And I found out that it comes down to one thing: execution, and the ability to take your ideas and plans and dreams and turn them into reality. That led me to the question, what are peak performers doing that others are not doing? How do they think? How do they act? What is behind the science of execution? I have now uncovered the secrets to the science of execution, and I want to share them with you. I have an intensive 3-day event called the Business Execution Summit. If you are truly committed to taking your game to the next level and mastering the science of execution, the most important skill that you will ever acquire, simply take your phone and text the word BESUMMIT, one word, to 41411, and I'll send you out some additional information on our upcoming event. Thank you so much for listening today. I really do appreciate your time, and I hope you found today's show valuable. If you would like to receive these shows automatically to your phone or to your computer, simply go to iTunes and subscribe. After listening to several of the shows, if you're so inclined, please leave us a 5-star rating, as this helps us reach additional people and spread the message. If you're truly committed to taking your life to the next level and doing whatever it takes to become a peak performer, but something's holding you back, something is blocking your way, and you just can't seem to figure out what it is, send me an email to info@thorconklin.com, and I'd be more than happy to get on the phone with you. We'll schedule a 15-minute discovery call. No obligation, no cost. I absolutely love to hear from the listeners, and if there's something I can do to help, I'd be more than happy to do that. Also, if you found something of great interest in today's show and you want to share that with your friends and family, simply go to my Facebook page, Thor Conklin. Click on the episode, hit the share button, and share it on your page. You can follow me at Twitter at Thor Conklin. The website is thorconklin.com. We're constantly adding new free resources, discussing additional tricks, tips, tools, and strategies on how to be a peak performer. Remember, I try to keep these episodes short so you can listen to them during dot time, doing other things, commuting, driving, walking, working out. Decide to be a peak performer in all that you do. And until tomorrow, have an absolutely amazing day.